Anabel Dflux.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. You're looking delightful tonight.
Only for you.
Oh, well. Yeah, I was talking to you earlier about your shoes. I love them.
Thank you.
So cute.
Fancy witchy shoes.
Yeah. I need to get some new shoes like that. I need to get some beetle boots.
I mean, if they come in your size.
Yeah. So, what did you do today?
Oh man, I've just been wrapping up all the projects that I'm currently working on. I'm leaving out of the country on July 18th, which means that I am now in mega hustle mode to wrap all of the projects that I'm currently working on, as I will not be reopening my bookings until September 1st.
Yeah, that's a nice break though. So
Yeah.
you're gonna be traveling over to
Europe. Gonna be visiting Europe for the first time, which is kind of funny considering the majority of my client base is European.
Yeah.
But I always service them on this side of the pond, so I'm gonna go check out where everyone comes from over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, staying over there in Germany with the dark folk
And
and
Corlix.
Corlix. Yeah. Yeah. I've never been. I can't wait to go to Europe and have an adventure. It's been long overdue for me.
Oh, you should do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I just told myself if I don't just go and do it, I'm never gonna end up doing it.
Yeah.
So I just said, let's go for it.
Yeah. So what have been so what's the month? It's June. What have been some of your big projects so far this year?
Oh, goodness. I feel like every time someone asks me this question, I just immediately blank out because I do so many jobs. It is only June, but I've already done over 100 projects, which is tremendous for a photographer.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of work with musicians, of course. My primary photography niche is the music industry, and as well as that, I also work with animals, which is kind of a funny dichotomy right there.
The doggos.
Yeah, and
Lots of doggos.
it's so funny how those two worlds kind of mix together because my music clients will constantly comment or interact with any post that has to do with a dog, and they'll bring me in to take photos of their dogs and whatnot. And then my canine clients will start fangirling or fanboying over some of the musical artists that I work with because turns out they've been fans for X number of years, and it's just wild how those worlds kind of collide a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as for projects, oh goodness gracious, I swear like my brain constantly blanks out when people ask me this. I believe the most recent thing that I just officially wrapped was doing some work for a band that you've actually worked with. I believe they're pronounced Zeistenkrow. Is that how they are
I'm not
pronounced?
sure the exact pronunciation. I say Zeisenkrow. I don't know. Zeisenkrow. Sorry, Orlando, but yeah.
But that band has been giving me so much creative freedom with my work, which has been awesome. We did a shoot right here in your studio, Stygian
Yes, we
Sound.
Yes, we did.
Utilizing equipment from Spiffy Gear and Westcott.
Spiffy.
Some awesome lighting companies that I met while working at WPPI this year in Las Vegas. We just wrapped the music video behind the scenes session, which you were also a part of. I see you everywhere I go.
I was blown away by that set.
It was amazing. The fact that they're even doing a VR music video is completely out of this world. Of the 300 plus bands I've worked with, not a single one of them has come up with that.
Yeah.
So I think it's wicked.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see. I mean, I know there's been like 360 videos and stuff like that, but this is like a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's completely, from what Orlando has explained to me, it's completely interactive. I mean, you put on the VR goggles and you can kind of control how the music video is going to be played or portrayed by you because you can look around.
Yeah, it's like you're venturing through it like a video game or something.
Yeah, which is cool considering I love video games. That I'm like, whenever those worlds can collide, it's pretty awesome.
You love video games.
I do.
Do you ever get to play them though?
Not anymore. I used to before photography became a full-time job for me. But, like I'll get maybe like 2 or 3 days off in a year.
Man. Well, yeah, I was going to ask you what video games you like to play, but I guess you don't get to play any.
No, I'm pretty pretty outdated by now. But, there's no date on entertainment, I suppose, if it's something that continues to entertain you.
Yeah. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and I was telling him about there's this new, it's not, I mean, they've had the trailer for it out for a while. It's called Agony. It's this
The devil game. Yeah.
It's like a first person shooter where you're traveling through hell, and it looks phenomenal. Like the graphics and oh my god, it looks terrifying. And there's a new Doom game that's coming out.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's so nostalgic.
Yeah, I love Doom. And there's another game called Scorn that's supposed to be releasing. It's like it kind of reminds me of Dead Space, but first person shooter and more fucked up looking. But yeah, I mean, I love video games too. I just, my Xbox is sitting there. I haven't played it in over a year. It's collecting dust at this point.
Same. Yeah. That's the thing. I just look at it and I'm like, well, I'm running off to another photo shoot. So
yeah.
And the thing about what I do is that the job does not stop when the shoot stops. If anything, it just continues on when I get home, because I'll usually stay up till the wee hours of the night editing projects and wrapping everything, which is how my ridiculous turnaround is 7 to 14 days.
Yeah, well,
because I don't sleep.
That's actually great though, because I mean, every project we've worked on together, you get the proofs to me so quickly. I love that.
Yeah,
it's like almost like a day later sometimes. Yeah, it's like a day later the next morning.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah, you're quick.
I'm impatient.
You're like, I want these off. I'm gonna clear all the files off my.
But the thing is, I feel like you work better when a job is fresh in your mind, because as you're shooting, at least in my case, as I'm shooting, I've already have an idea of how I'm going to edit them. I know exactly how I'm going to process them. So it's better for me to have the job completed while it's still fresh in my mind. And yeah, I'll still write down notes to remind myself what I'm planning on doing. But if I can get it done right off the bat, then it's fresher and you're motivated. And when something sits for like a month or two, it becomes a little bit harder to get back into the mental zone you were in when you were shooting.
Of course.
Especially because your perspective and even just aesthetic changes so quickly in any form of art. I've seen it in music. I've seen it in makeup, especially in photography. Like I'll do various shoots that are all something different, and they all bring out something different in my work, and that inspires me and kind of changes my inclination for how I edit. So a shoot that I did a week ago, like that sort of editing style might be kind of outdated, so to speak, in the sense that every shoot brings something out and I become more inclined to something else.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why I always prefer when people get proofs back to me as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, you're like, can you pick the photos you like, please, quickly?
If you're my friend, I will pester you every day. So have you had a chance to check out those photos I sent you?
Yeah, I always try to, sometimes I lag, but I always try to send you mine like within a week. But
you're one of the fastest, I can tell you that for sure.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about that that video shoot we were on for like a week after, because it was just, like I said, I was so blown away by the set. And I'm not often in an environment that is all white, so it was quite different for me, but I got used to it, and I was like, this is cool. And
was it blinding?
It was so bright in there, but yeah, that was amazing. I'm glad that we got to work together on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've worked together in so many different projects over the years. It's crazy. But never a music video.
Yeah, that was the first.
That was the first time.
Yeah. So I was also remembering when we were hanging out at the Cradle show.
Oh, yeah. Working with Cradle of Filth again.
Yeah, and I saw the pictures from that show too that you did, and those are really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like my medal, what can I say?
Yeah, that was such a fun show. I had a great time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for accompanying me the whole time. And usually when I go to concerts, I tend to be by myself because I'm always there very early and I stay quite late and I'm always running around. But I had the opportunity at this one to actually, after finishing my shots, sit back and actually enjoy the show, which was great.
They played every song that there was a couple, but they played almost every song I was hoping they would. So yeah, that was my second time seeing him. So it was really, I was excited.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Lindsay's voice is just incredible. Shout out.
Yeah.
Head out to Miss Lindsay.
Yeah, she nailed it. I remember I was telling you, I think it was like within the first few songs, I was like, yeah, this sounds amazing tonight. Cause I saw a bunch of live footage from previous shows on the tour and I was like, wow, tonight sounds really good.
Absolutely. You know? I think LA was like definitely one of their stronger shows, it seems, based upon YouTube videos and fan recounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what can you say? Los Angeles, the hub of music.
Yep.
Just bring something out in people.
Yeah, absolutely. God, I love metal.
That's why we work in metal.
Can't get enough metal. What bands are you listening to right now?
Oh, goodness. As much as I say I love metal, I've been on like a goth rock kick.
That's fine.
Lately. Quite a bit of my work this year has been primarily with goth rock bands. So it kind of brought back my initial love for goth rock. Goth rock used to be the genre that I listened to almost exclusively in my teenage years.
It's a little bit of 69 Knives.
Yeah.
A little bit of Yerky.
That's actually, that's kind of what kicked it off, actually, was working the Yerky 69 and MGT shows.
I love that.
MGT's new album has been mind-bogglingly amazing. I mean, that really like set off my goth rock kick. It was so nostalgic, yet it still brought something new that I hadn't heard before, and they're all the nicest people.
Yeah, that show they did at the Whiskey, I was freaking out. Well, I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, because I didn't know they were going to play 69 Eyes songs. I thought it was just going to be all his solo stuff. So I was like, oh, they started playing, some of the older 69 Eyes songs. I was like, this is awesome.
That was a surprise of it.
It was. Because I only saw them, I saw 69 Eyes in 2009. It was at the Key Club before they closed down.
Oh, goodness, the Key Club.
So, yeah, I was pretty stoked with that show. And MGT sounded amazing as well. So, that was a good night. And yeah, I first heard about MGT when he did that cover song, the ABBA cover with Ville.
Yep.
I was like, this is awesome.
Absolutely amazing, tremendous work. I'm telling you, that whole album with all the guest vocalists is still one of my favorites.
I think that was the first one he did on Cleopatra. I might be wrong, but
don't quote me on that one because I don't actually remember.
Yeah, but then now he has this newer one. That's how. But yeah, all the songs are really good. And another reason why I loved that song when he did with Ville so much is because Tim Palmer did the mix, so I was freaking out over it. Like the production sounds amazing on that track.
And I was freaking out because the music video was created by my absolute favorite photographer, another Ville.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about him.
Yeah.
And you got a chance to meet him, right?
I did, thanks to Yerky and my good friend Molly for introducing me at the Whiskey Show.
Oh.
They both knew that I was a very, very big fan, and they both independently planned on introducing me to him, and they just happened to do it at the same time because we're all backstage. And that was just an incredible moment. I usually don't fangirl over anyone, to be honest with you. I think working in this industry for so long, you become very desensitized. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just you realize that everyone's just a regular person, and that's about it.
Yep.
But I still hold certain photographers to a very, very high prestige in my mind. So that was pretty awesome. And he was great. Very, very nice lad. He jumped in right away to show me all the gear that he was using and the projects he was working on. And we were both nerding out over lenses and camera gear while everybody else back there was like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was awesome.
Nice. So let's see. I was thinking about our first photo shoot together the other day.
When I was still a teenager?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be talking to Anabel. So, and then I started thinking about that, and I was like, I should probably bring that up because that was pretty awesome. Our little Malibu shoot where you're like, I remember you sent me this really cute email too, and this was before we met, and it was this nicely written out, very very proper email. I was like, oh, she takes this very seriously, because most people just send like, I have this pet peeve with email, like formatting and just grammar in general. And most people just, when they email, they just send, messed up sentences and no periods, just like really bad grammar, and that bugs me. And then when somebody actually sends me a proper email, I like freak out. I get all excited, and you were one of those people. So I was like, oh my God, I can take you seriously right away. And yeah, you're like, oh, I'm doing, you had a gallery showcase. You were
at
doing
the Key Club, funny enough.
No. You're the one that you did for the pirate
Club
shoot. Was it at the Key Club?
Mm-hmm. I remember because that was the second show that I did, because the first one was at the Belasco.
Huh. Because I didn't go to the Key Club one. I went to the Belasco one. Okay, so you did two showcases for the same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I guess this sounds fun. I will dress up as a pirate. You're like, I need a pirate for this. I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I was like, I'm probably gonna look like a terrible pirate, but it was really fun. The shoot was really fun.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to reminisce about that, because I was only 17 when that happened. I'm still pretty new to it, because I started doing photography professionally at 15. So there were still some kinks to work out over all those years. And yeah, that was a fun day.
Yeah.
Thank you for last minute doing it.
Of course. And I thought it was really cute too, because your dad was like, hey, I was like, oh, okay. So it was just funny to me, because he was like, I gotta make sure this dude isn't gonna try and pull anything crazy on my daughter here. I was like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I started working with bands at 16, and they definitely saw some things and some stuff, and they wanted to make sure I was okay until I learned how to stand on my own 2 feet.
It's understandable. I thought it was adorable.
It was got into it a lot younger than most people get into it, and kind of just be thrown into the Hollywood life.
Yeah, but that was good times for sure.
I still have that photo, like that whole photo series, on my computer, and I occasionally put it back up.
No.
As a throwback.
The one that you chose, I really liked, and then you got me the print. You framed a print for me. Yeah.
As a thank you.
Yeah, I have it. I just don't put it up because I don't like putting up pictures of myself in general.
I am the same. I am like the shoemaker without any shoes. I barely have any photos of myself, minus for the first time actually booking a professional photographer to take pictures of me, because I needed it for a couple of high profile jobs I was working on. They required headshots, and I'm like, oh crud, I actually don't have any headshots.
Are you talking about the Chad Michael Ward ones? Those look really good.
Thank you. Yeah. He's wonderful.
And your hair looks so vibrant. Gorgeous in that. Yeah.
As of now. I feel like my hair has become a part of my brand. Like I can't step away from it.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I think it was the Catatonia show, but I think it was the first time I ever messaged you, because I'm pretty sure it was, but I was like, are you going to this? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll see you there. But we never actually met up for that one. But yeah, the first time we hung out was that shoot.
Can't believe you remember that, because all the concerts I've shot, I can't keep any of them straight in my head anymore. I was like, did I shoot that one? Or did I shoot the other one? Yeah,
I mean, you've done so many shows, and doing the shows for you now, I'm sure, is just like, no big deal. You're like, just another day at work.
Yeah, it becomes a little mundane when you do the same thing all the time. But I feel like people probably say the same thing about you. They're just like, oh my God, your life is so exciting and you play music all the time and you production stuff. And you're just like, it's just another Tuesday at the office.
Yeah, it is in a way, but I still really enjoy it, obviously. But yeah, it's true. I mean, when people see it as like this, oh, you're in the studio every day and it's this big deal, and it is, but since it's just my normal day-to-day thing, yeah, it's not that it doesn't get boring at all. It's just it becomes normal, and it loses that wow factor a little bit. But yeah, I still, every time I go into like a different studio, or if I'm tracking drums, or if a new client, it's all just as exciting as when I first started. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Any new job that comes in, it's like it sparks a new fire in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're very lucky. Yeah. What can I say?
Absolutely. So what's so you're going to Europe and then coming back. Do you have any crazy plans for the rest of the year, or are you just gonna wait until you get back to see what happens?
I already have September almost entirely booked up, which was pretty awesome, because I felt like when I came back, I had to come back to a bunch of work, or else I will go crazy, because I'm not a person who's okay with complacency. Yeah. So I already booked up a couple things. As for later in the year, for like the bigger things that I'm allowed to talk about, I'm going to be working at the Photo Plus Expo in New York in October. I do a lot of work with photography expos, both with Canon USA and as a journalist for a couple of photography schools that I work at, because alongside the 2 million things that I do on a daily basis, I also teach photography through a couple of educational outlets and through Canon USA in Costa Mesa, which has been an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-boggling experience. I never thought that right now at my age I would even be doing things like that. But I suppose sacrificing most of my social life to work 7 days a week since I was 15 was worth it.
Absolutely. So how was like your first teaching experience? Were you nervous, or was it a breeze? Like how did it go for you?
So I started out teaching private classes with 1 or 2 people, which I've always found to be very easy, because it's like talking like what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But actually teaching a seminar was initially nerve-wracking, because we had over 100 attendees signed up for the concert photography seminar that I taught at Canon USA in Costa Mesa. And just seeing the amount of people was initially like, oh my God, everyone is here to listen to me talk for an hour. Mm-hmm. No, actually 2 hours. It was a 2-hour seminar. But once you start talking and once you get into it, you really calm down and you get right into it. Because what a lot of people don't know is that I actually do have stage fright.
Really?
I do. I guess I just pushed through it.
I wouldn't have guessed that at all. Oh.
Years of practice, I guess. Yeah. You just push through. You're kind of like, well, if I'm obligated to do this and I don't have any way out of this, then I might as well just go up there and say, screw it, and just do it. But it was a tremendous experience. I absolutely loved doing it. All the people who showed up were wonderful. There were a couple industry people that I knew who had driven all the way out there to listen to me talk about concert photography, which was quite an honor for myself. There was a couple of concert photographers there who I really admire that actually showed up to listen to me talk. Nice. And then there was a lot of students who had never even done music photography before, and they were just really curious about it. And I've been receiving emails since then about students going out to, say, the Whiskey and shooting some local acts and finding a passion and a spark for it like I did years ago. And it's good. It's kind of supporting the local scene as well, because although I do work with quite a few higher caliber musicians, I still do a lot of work in the local scene, because I believe that music, art, all of this is a creative community, and Absolutely. That we all have to continue to support each other. And It doesn't matter how far ahead you go or whether you don't move ahead at all. It's a matter of being there and finding a kinship with people who are dedicating their lives to their passions, which happen to fall into an industry that is incredibly tumultuous and difficult to break into.
Very much so. Yeah. I love that outlook. I mean, because there's a lot of people that, obviously, there's a lot of competition, but I think, you have to have that mindset. Like, it's not all about, who's going to get the gig, who's going to get the gig. I mean, it's like, it is, but at the same time, I don't know. I see more people doing, just doing better for the community. Like when you have that outlook, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely. And
just being there for being there for everybody and not just being so cold about it,
Absolutely. I'm a big believer that kindness will take you further than anything else. I've always both lived and worked on the principles of being kind, genuine, and respectful of other people. I know that it's kind of a lost art in Hollywood. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to even have to say that, but that being said, it's good to remember that just because other people conduct themselves in a kind of an unfavorable manner doesn't mean that you have to stoop down to that same exact level.
Right.
But even on that note, is there really even competition in art? Because that's kind of a debate that I've had with quite a few people as to whether or not art is actually competitive or if it's just egos kind of playing in there and being like, well, I want to be the only musician here. I want to be the only photographer, the only painter here.
Yeah.
But really, everyone sees life through a completely different lens. No pun intended.
There you go.
So I don't know if there's actually a competition in that sense because no one is going to be able to properly copy one another. Everyone's still going to bring in their own individual aspect to it, and the audience, the fans, the viewers, they will either gravitate towards what you have to offer or they won't. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing really you can do to win them over in that case. It's kind of you click with them or you don't. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, there's no competition because you are who you are as an artist, and everyone brings something different to the table, of course. I'm saying like in the aspect of, okay, well, say for example, you really want to work with this band or this model or whatever, and then there's 10 other photographers, like everyone's wants to work with them. Same thing with music. It's like, I go through that all the time, like, I want to work with this band. I want to mix this band single, but there's, 15, 20 other dudes that are trying to do the same thing. So in that regard, there is competition.
Absolutely.
But but on the artistic side of it, it's like everybody has something unique to bring to the table. So
100%.
Yeah.
I think the key has always been to push what makes you different to the forefront, and then you kind of like weed out the pool of the person you want to work with. It's kind of like gravitating towards that. But I've definitely been also guilty of having a list of people I've wanted to work with and really like pursuing that. Because I'm like, I'm going to work with these people, and that's just that. I'm going to work with them.
Right.
And spend a long time pursuing them. So in that case, I became kind of competitive.
Yeah, but I think it's really important to do that and to have that personality when, there's something you want, you go after it,
Absolutely.
Because some people think, well, I'm just so good that it's going to come to me.
Oh, God.
Well,
no one
maybe,
has ever.
But probably not.
Good.
It's like you really have to go after it. And a lot of people think like, well, I don't want to be that person that's constantly hounding people to work with them, But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of a back and forth. It's kind of a little bit of a personal battle there. Like, because it's like, well, do I want to be that person, or do I just want to sit back and not achieve all these goals I have? You know what I mean?
There's always a fine line. I think that's where respect plays in and moderation.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain where the line is or where you're supposed to draw it. I think that's like a personal choice at that point. But I've always been a big proponent of ambition being a very good thing, and having a drive is excellent. So is having a work ethic. But in terms of how heavily you pursue things, I think you should pursue things as heavily as you feel fit. For approaching people, it's put your professional foot forward.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to to really like propose yourself to someone and be like, this is what I do, I'd like to work with you, et cetera, and sending them lots of very, very angry messages of, why didn't you respond back to me? Why did you hire this one instead of me, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, and on the other end too, because I've been hit up by people that want me to work on their music, but it's maybe something I'm not necessarily interested in, but in different aspects. But it's like, I've had people constantly hit me up about something, and I get that they're trying to be persistent and they're trying to pursue it, but it comes to a point where it's just extremely annoying and it's like, okay, I never want to be that person, you know? And so like, you know, some people just don't, like you said, they don't know where to draw the line. So it's like, yeah, it's just something, you know, it's a work in progress, but yeah, I totally agree. It's like the art is always going to be the art. Yeah. There's no competition there. So yeah,
I think totally. I guess being a successable artist, not to say that I'm successful, just in general,
of course you are. Absolutely.
It's never enough. As a general statement, to be able to survive off of your art, I feel like you need to have a business sense and a business mind about you. I understand that as creatives, we're very right thinkers or right brain thinkers. I know that I can be a right brain emotional thinker because I am a Pisces, but I hide that quite a bit, in the sense that you still got to put your like business sense forward and your professional foot forward. And I took many, many years of business classes. I went to university for business because I feel like unless you're able to like hire somebody to handle all of that for you, you still have to approach it from a business standpoint, which is where the idea of, well, what's too much pestering, or how do I propose myself to someone plays in.
Right. I mean, I know people, like, there's a lot of people that they're so talented and they have so much to offer. It's just, they don't have that business side and they don't know how to monetize their talent. Right. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you either have to take on that business side on your own and learn over time, or like you said, hire somebody. So
yeah, and I mean, it's an unfortunate truth that that's just how it works. I mean, if you look through art through history, it wasn't always like this. Art was a significantly more respected profession and craft in ancient times than it is now. But the thing is, we can all sit here and be like, well, I wish the world was like this, or the world was like this 100 years ago. But the fact is that it's not. And so it's either you adapt and you work with what you got, or you can sit there and throw a pity party in the corner and not actually accomplish anything.
Yeah. Adapt with the times. Learn all the social media. Don't get on there.
That Instagrams, the Facebooks, the YouTubes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I struggle with it because it takes up so much time to do it correctly. And, you know, it's just a necessary evil at this point.
It is. I get the majority of my bookings through social media, and the other half being through referrals. And it's awful how much time you need to dedicate to that. But on the other hand, social media has made it a lot easier to be able to reach a broad audience and be able to showcase what you do to the world without having to in any way require a distributor or a manager or an agent.
Yes. Yes.
So it's been pretty awesome to be able to kind of be my own agent without having to actually sign with an agency for my photography because of social media and being able to reach that broad range. I mean, I was approached by a few agents a couple years ago, and I realized, I was looking at what they were doing, and I realized a lot of this I could do myself.
Yep.
Not to say that everyone should, because this is why I don't sleep, doing everything myself.
A little workaholic you.
Oh gosh. But so are you.
I know.
Excuse you.
I think when it gets to the point where you're getting so much work that you can't handle all the business side and creative side on your own, then yeah, you need to look into a manager. But
100%.
Most managers won't even work with you unless you're at that point already, because then you won't make them any money, and it's, you know, that you need to have a lot of work coming in, you know, to have an entertainment type manager want to take you on. You know?
Yeah, it's really interesting how much the entertainment and art industry parallel each other, because every time I I work with bands and they kind of disclose to me how their label works, how their manager works, how their PR company works, agency, whatever team of essentially suits they have behind them. It's incredible how similar it is to the way that the photography industry works, which I'm sure that people don't usually think about that. They don't usually see it as look at how these things work together, but that they do.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying, I thought about hiring a manager, but I kind of enjoy doing it all on my own as of now, because I'm not flooded with work like all the time, so I can manage it all on my own as of now. But I think if it gets to the point where I can't, then yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
I mean, 100%. Throughout all these years that I've been working, I have hired assistants in the past to take care of a lot of stuff for me, to run my social medias or help me cull down photos, do some basic light editing on stuff. I don't do that as much anymore, just because I am a very big hands-on person. I like to be the one who personally handles everything. A lot of my clients come to me with the expectation that I am the one handling everything personally for them. But when things get really, really backed up, I'll definitely get someone to come in and manage my Instagram for me, manage my Facebook for me.
Yeah. And you also offer that service to clients as well, right? Like
I do. I offer
social
marketing
media
services. Yeah, I went to school for marketing, and I found that through the years of having to build up my own business, I have developed a lot of marketing skills. And when I refined them through education, I was kind of like, why not offer them to some of the band clients that I work with? I do keep it at very, very limited slots. I only do 3 or 4 slots a month, just to make sure that everyone gets their kind of their own personal service there, because otherwise it's absolutely impossible to manage everything.
Yeah, I bet.
But it's been an interesting experience to kind of do something a little different. But within all my marketing services, my own photography comes into play, because I do all the content creation for the clients that hire me for marketing. I do all the videos, all the photos. I write everything. I do all the graphic design, all the paid advertisement work. So at least it ties in with what I was initially drawn to.
Absolutely.
In regard to what I'm doing.
That's quite a valuable package there. It's like the client comes to you, I need pictures, I want to do a marketing campaign, and you just handle it, and so you take all the photos. Sometimes you do videos. Yeah, so then you can do all the social media posts and handle all that for the artists, so they don't have to worry about it. Because
absolutely,
I know a lot of artists that just have no idea how to post a picture or a video, and it's like, yeah.
And if
let
you
them
think
focus
about
on the music.
Exactly. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, why do they need to know how to do that? Because once upon a time, all of this was individualized jobs. I mean, musicians didn't have to know how to do any of this because they had someone doing it for them.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember the days essentially before Facebook and Instagram where you saw musicians because they were in a magazine or they were doing a television interview and whatnot, and they didn't have to do any of this. But the climate has changed.
Oh yeah,
so
very much so. Now it's pretty much a requirement, unless you're gonna hire you or someone else to do it. I mean, if you don't have the budget to, then yeah, I mean, you really need to know basic, at least basic stuff, like know how to post photos, post videos, get all that up there, and keep it consistent. That's a thing I've noticed too. I mean, I'm terrible at it, so I shouldn't.
You are not. I see what you're posting.
I shouldn't talk, but I mean, I think a lot of the thing that kind of hurts artists or bands that are doing really well live, doing a lot of tours and stuff. Some bands just don't post. I mean, maybe like once or twice a week they'll post something, but it's like when you have a lot of content, I think it's important to keep it consistent, at least like once a day, minimum.
100%.
And yeah, because I think it's kind of counterproductive if you're posting but you're not posting enough, so you kind of lose followers at that point. That happens to me all the time, because I'm terrible at Instagram. So I notice I'll be good about posting for like a week, and then I don't know, the next couple weeks I'll just be too busy with something in the studio, and I'm just like, I just kind of fuck off and I don't do it. And then I actually noticed that all the fans that I gained the week before, all the followers, the number goes down like twice the amount the next week because I'm not posting consistently.
They don't recognize you anymore.
Exactly. No, it's just true. So it's like,
is.
if you don't keep it up, then all those fans you gained will go away.
I think the psychological changes of fan bases due to social media is insane. I mean, there are hundreds of studies out there in scientific journals about how the societal standards and psychology and sociology has changed in people because of the rise of social media and the way that they interact with one another and consume media and consume information. So it's kind of a race to keep up with how things are changing to make sure that you are still relevant and reaching the people that you want to reach.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It's so true, though. I mean, and the attention span, too, it's crazy because, things have to be... That's why, Instagram is so popular, because it's like the photo and then it's like a 30-second to, I think it goes up to 60 seconds. So it's like it has to be crammed into this short clip. You just have to get it. You have to get it out there. And like I noticed too on Facebook, video views tend to do way better at first if you put it on Facebook video instead of putting a YouTube link.
There's a trick to that. It's because Google products are a competitor to the Facebook brand, so they actually the algorithm will filter out any links to any form of Google product like YouTube.
Yeah,
which is incredibly irritating, but. That's just another problem with social media, is that the algorithms take so much control over everything, where initially the point of an algorithm was to filter out spam and bots and whatnot. And what an algorithm is just a robot with AI that is programmed into them to function on their own and continuously learn on their own to be able to filter out spam and whatnot. But considering all these companies are monetary endeavors, the algorithm is now oriented on making the company money.
Right.
For, on one hand, I guess one could say understandable reason, because every company wants to get to their bottom line. But
well, yeah, I mean, for example, like what I was saying with, say, a band has a new music video and they post it on Facebook video and then they post it on YouTube, but they post on their band page, they'll post the Facebook video link, and then they'll post the YouTube, which will link out to YouTube, obviously, but the one that's embedded in Facebook gets more views quicker. Obviously, because you just have to scroll through your feed and you see it for like 10 seconds or whatever, and it counts as a view. But most people, if they see a YouTube link of the same video, they won't click on it. Yeah,
because it opens in a different window or a different format. It's so silly that we can't even take 5 seconds out of our day to do that. But I feel like we all kind of become victims to that. I mean, I can honestly say that I have developed habits from social media that I didn't have before, where I'm like, an external link.
Yeah.
Can't they just embed it?
Well, I mean, I think the YouTube links you can, or am I thinking Twitter? Isn't there in a YouTube link, if you click on it, it will play in the feed? You just have to do an extra click or something.
It used to be that way. I think it still is.
Okay.
I don't actually remember.
Yeah, maybe
I've been so kind of scarce on using social media for what social media is supposed to be used for lately, because I for my own social media accounts, because I do manage 8 other accounts for other clients, I use a scheduler to post everything. Therefore, I'm not actually sitting on there as much as most people might think I'm sitting on there, because I actually have a program going in and doing everything for me. Minus messages. I still have the instant messages coming through to my phone.
So do you use a separate app that manages all those accounts?
Several apps.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Because I noticed
for different social medias.
On Pages, I noticed you can schedule the post, so you can upload a bunch of stuff and then schedule each post to post at a different time, so you don't have to really, do it in real time.
100%. The only reason I haven't been doing that is because It's actually been kind of strange for my clients' accounts and even my own personal Facebook account. The schedule has been glitching up. Like I'll schedule something for, say, this time next week, and it'll post it tomorrow at this time, even though the date is still set for next week, which is why for clients' accounts, I manage it manually to make sure there's no accidental mix-up. And for my own account, I just use a third-party app.
Gotcha.
For that, so I don't need to worry about it. Because the last thing you want is a photo series to be released when it is corresponding with something and have that out early.
Right.
I mean, it's better to have that out late than it is to have that out early and
yeah, the timing's
spoil the surprise.
The timing is important for you in that regard. So if any of the scheduling mishaps on the Facebook pages, then you might as well just use them apps.
Oh yeah.
So is there anything you want to plug before we wrap it up?
Anything to plug? It's been difficult to plug anything because I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that I can really schedule at the moment because my schedule bookings are actually going to close in a week and a half. I will not be taking on any more jobs until I come back. So a week and a half left to book the final slots, but
I'll have to book you when you get back then.
Oh yeah.
For a special stream.
Oh, special things, huh?
Yeah.
But I am booking for October, November, and December, as well as next year. So if anyone has a long-term project they're interested in, you can always get at me.
What about a cute kitty cat Halloween shoot?
Heck yeah. Oh my God. Halloween pet shoots are my favorite thing on the planet. I mean, the amount of like Halloween and Valentine's Day and Thanksgiving and Christmas pet shoots that you do are just awesome because you get to dress your little floofy ones up, even though they don't quite appreciate that. But if you shake like some mozzarella cheese or some steak in front of them, they're all pretty stoked at that point.
Epic floofs.
Oh, I love the floofs.
Okay, so if anyone wants to hit you up for a photo shoot, what's your website is the best way, or what's the best way?
You can hit me up on any channel that I have. I used to be use the contact form on my website, but now you can hit me up in any which way you want. All of my social medias are at Anabel Dflux, ANABELDFLUX. My official website is delicusflux.com. I know the name is quite complicated. It's something I came up with when I was 15 because I'm a very big literature nerd and philosophy nerd, and those two things kind of play into the name of my business, which is why I shorten it to Dflux.
Dflux.
But if you Google Anabel Dflux, my website link will pop up because I was never the best at spelling bees. So if I was to try and spell it on air right now, I might make an ass out of myself.
Oh, well, as long as it pops up there on Google. So you're
Absolutely.
Good.
I have a very odd name. It pops up whenever you search it.
Right on. Well, excellent. Thank you for being on, and it was great talking to you. And be sure to hit up Anabel for your next shoot.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.